Hi, I'm Carrie Ann Stout, founder and CEO of Vinco Bar Exam Coaching. And we are continuing on with our series of interviewing students who have successfully passed the bar exam. Today we have Krystal joining us, and she's going to tell us a little bit about her experience studying for the bar exam and about her experience working with Vinco. So welcome, Krystal. Thank you for joining us today. How's it going?
Hi, it's good. Everything's good.
Everything great? You're like, I passed the bar exam. Everything's wonderful.
I'm excited.
So let's just jump in with our first question, which is, when you were deciding that you wanted someone to help you with the bar exam and get some extra support, what specifically were you looking for in that relationship?
I was really looking for structure and accountability. So I was looking for someone who could really tell me, like, okay, you need to get these points done. Like, this is your target. You have to do X, Y, Z by today. You have to do this and that by the end of the week. I really needed some form of like structure because I'm more tasks oriented and more like lists focused.
Yep.
So having that really helped me. And I needed that. So I was looking for that. But I was also looking for not just this is what you need to get done, but like this is what you need to get done. And you did this part, but you didn't do this part. So what's going on? Why didn't you get this part done?
So the accountability portion too, right? Yeah. Structure and accountability. And that, that makes sense. That's something that a lot of people really like. Bar prep will give you a plan. So like there's some structure there, but you still kind of have to make it more structured for yourself. And then also the accountability piece. So, and kind of on that same note, one of the biggest questions I get is like, what is bar exam coaching? Like, what do you really do? And I find that our students actually do the best job describing that. So I was wondering if you would talk for just a minute or two about kind of how the coaching relationship played out for you and like what that looked like.
So it was more than just the plan and the accountability. It was also like being there when like things got tough, because bar prep is tough. And like anything that came up, like, so I'll mention it. For example, I think it was like maybe a month into bar prep. Well, it was definitely like 2 weeks into like me giving bar prep full blown because I had left my job. So it was the second week of January and I found out I was pregnant. And I was like, holy crap, I'm in the middle of bar prep. How am I going to do this? But like, my coach, which is you. Anyway.
Which is me.
You were great, really, like, telling me, like, just making me feel like, okay, there's this challenge, but it's not going to change my plan and I'm still going to get it done. And like, sometimes you need to hear it. I know like you can talk yourself into like, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. But having someone tell you and like really be there for you, that really helped. Yeah, that was really like, and that's what I feel like the coaching is more of. Like when you're having a breakdown, I think I probably, yeah. Oh, that's another thing. I remember I felt really behind. And one time, and I was like, oh my God, like I felt like if I didn't do like the first task and the second task, I couldn't move on to the third task.
Yeah.
And I remember I like sent you an email and I was like, or a text message, and I was like, hey, like I really am behind. I don't know if I should just like my brain, part of my brain, the irrational side is telling me you got to finish what you're behind on before you can move forward. Yeah. But then my other brain, the rational side was like, no, stop. Forget about what you haven't done. Just move on to your task for today, and we'll build in whatever we need to build in later. And I remember like I texted you that and I was like, I'm freaking out. And you were like, no, listen to your rational side. Right. And like it worked out.
We're like the face of the rational part of your brain. Like we represent the rational part of your brain. But I think that's a good, a really good way to describe it, and some great examples of it's like, yes, we're going to give you that plan and we're going to hold you accountable, but we're also going to help you deal with like the curveballs that get thrown, because life keeps happening even though you're studying for the bar exam. So whether it's happy news like a baby, or sad news or frustrating news or whatever, like you might have to adjust, right? And then
Yeah.
also, I think the second situation you described is more about where like students get stuck. It's like, I don't know, I have this, I have that. What should I do? I'm overwhelmed, so I do nothing. And so instead, like you're able to get some instant feedback on what to do and move forward. So I think that's great that that worked out for you. And we get a bar exam baby out of it, which I cannot wait. I'm super excited for that to happen. It's like Vinco's first baby. Oh man. All right. So now on to maybe a slightly more serious topic though, but this was not your first time taking the bar exam, this administration that you passed. And I think it's really helpful for people to hear about what some differences were the time you passed from time that you didn't. And like, what do you really think the changes you made that helped you the most were? I'm super interested to hear your answer to this, of all people.
Okay. So it was not my first time. It was actually my third time taking the bar. So third time's a charm. But the first time I took the bar, I started bar prep really late. So I took it February, so exactly a year before I took this bar.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't start studying till halfway through January. And I knew I had to study, and I was doing an online course. I had one of the major bar prep course, and I won't mention which one, but I was doing it online. And they had online and live, and I chose to do it online. And so I was doing online prep, but I didn't have that accountability because I could do it on my own time. So I was also working full time. So I was going to work 9 to 5, and I'd get off at 5. Then I'd be exhausted, come home, and I have my own challenges at home. And then in the middle of like trying to figure out everything, I'd like maybe dedicate 2 hours to watching a video, and videos are like 4 hours long. So, and then if I even watched a video that was 4 hour long, which I probably started like at 6, ended at 10, I was done. I was done for the day. I didn't want to look at so like I didn't do any practice questions at all.
Even now, you passed the bar exam, and even now when you say that to me, it gives me heartache. You say that.
Yeah, I didn't. I think it was maybe around February that time that I switched to live for like the last like 2-3 weeks of the class. Okay. But I was like, you know what, this is still not working out. Like I had to do live classes plus watch videos, and I was always playing catch up to the day before the bar. I felt like I was playing catch up. There was a subject that I didn't even touch. Like I didn't touch evidence at all. And then I didn't do any practice questions. I never did an essay. I never did a multiple choice question. Like I went into the bar the first time just on videos. The second time I took the bar, I was like, okay, I got to be smarter about this because I started way too late, and I can't do this online thing because I can't hold myself accountable to go online. So I need to go live. So I did it live, and I went every day. But again, the classes were at night. I was working full time. So I'd get out at 4. I managed to work it out with my boss so I could get out earlier. By the time I ran to the class, and then was in the class for 4 hours, and then I'd get home at like 11, I was beat. I was done. I wasn't doing a practice question either. So maybe this time though, I did maybe about, if I did 100 multiple choice, it's a lot. That was a lot. If I did 100, I think I did less than 100. I didn't do any essay practices at all. And I was in a big company bar prep like I was using a big commercial bar prep.
To be fair to this particular company, they were assigning you more practice questions than you were doing.
No, they did. No, so that's what I'm trying to say. They did. So they had a schedule.
Right.
And like I had to turn in essays by a certain day. I was supposed to email the essays, but no one was there telling me, Krystal, you didn't email essays. What's going on?
TikTok.
I think I got one email that was like, oh, we haven't received essays. If you want to submit them, you can submit them by this date. Yeah, okay. So then I went into the bar prep still with no bar prep because I still hadn't practiced. I knew more law than I ever could imagine knowing because I did know the law. And the first time, I'll admit, the first time I failed by 14 points. The second time I failed by 5 points.
Which I still think is a miracle that you only failed by 5 points, having done as little, as few practice questions as you did. And so can you compare for everyone now, like how much you practiced on the time you passed?
So this time around, I did not do any commercial bar prep company.
No videos.
I used just Vinco, and I used all the material that I had from before. And what I did was I didn't focus on studying the law almost at all. I reviewed it because I needed to review it to refresh my brain, but I knew the law, and maybe because I spent so much time studying it, but I knew it. What I did spend all my time was in practice. So this time around, I did over 3,000 practice questions.
Sure did. 3,000 plus multiple choice.
And as much as I hated the essays, I did over 35, almost 40, I think.
Yeah, with the full length, that's probably, yeah.
Yeah, I did about 40 practice essay questions, and then I did about 5 performance tests.
Yeah. So that's a huge shift. Like, so I was super excited that Krystal agreed to talk with us because obviously she's like the poster child for practice questions being most important, but also, and so obviously that was like the big change that but something else that I think about like your story that's really important to share with everyone is that Krystal also did not ever let anything get in the way of bar prep. So like not the first trimester of pregnancy, which for those of you who don't know cannot be like the best time in someone's life, right? Not the fact that she's already a mom and has like her kid to take care of as it is, or even things like your car getting broken into on bar exam day, like no excuses. And can you talk for like a minute about like how you kept the focus, because that's hard. Like, I know we joke about it, like it's no big deal, but like, honestly, that's hard what you did. So how did you kind of keep the outside factors from like interfering so much with bar prep? What are some things you did?
Okay. So first of all, I just knew that I was tired of taking the bar. I was just fed up with taking it, and I didn't want to go through it again. So I really focused time. Oh, another thing that I didn't mention, I did differently. I took 2 full months off from work.
Right, you weren't working.
I didn't do the first 2 times. I only took maybe 2 weeks off the first 2 times each, but this time I took 2 full months off. And I still have my responsibilities. I am a mom, and then I did. I went through a first trimester of a pregnancy. I was tired all the time, but I really just I tried to stay on task. Like, I tried to follow my tasks, and when I didn't follow my tasks, following up with my coach to make sure that we were building in like how we were gonna make up for what I didn't do. And I did. I met every goal that we set before bar prep.
Yep.
Like, I didn't miss one. I think it was 35 MEEs, 5 MPTs, and 3,000 multiple choice. Those were our goals, and I met each of those goals. Yeah. And that was my I was very goal oriented. Like, this is what I have to do, and no matter what, this is what I have to do. But it's not only about me. And it's really about you, because I remember texting you the morning of bar prep, and I'm like, you will never believe my car just got broken into.
I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh no.
And then, honestly, your reaction was like, all right, forget about that. Have your mom or your boyfriend deal with it. You get up here. Forget about it. You got this. Nothing's going to stop you. That encouragement, that's what coaching is about. It wasn't just me, because I was crying. And you're like, don't cry. Just get up here.
Yes, I did tell a pregnant lady not to cry. Yes, I did.
No, but you need that. I needed that. You need that sometimes, because it's very easy to let those small distractions, that's big. Your car getting broken into the morning of bar prep, Yeah. But you were like, no, just get here. We'll figure it out. But your number one task for the day is to get here and take this bar. And I did. Broken window and all.
And I could. You showed up with your breakfast. You were ready to go. It was game time. But I think that's it's a really important message for people to hear, that stuff will go wrong while you're studying for the bar exam. Stuff will come in and be distracting and give you opportunities to quit or give up. And you're living proof that if you can just decide you're going to do it and stick to it, here we are. And so now that you're a bar exam expert, If you had, and I'm sure people are going to ask you this now, like, hey, Krystal, like I'm studying for the bar. What's important? What do I need to do? If you could give someone one piece of advice, like you must do this to study for the bar exam, what would you tell them?
Practice.
You can't say that with a straight face to me, can you? I mean, she tortured me.
Really,
she tortured me.
I think practicing is the best thing you could do. And not just practicing writing. No, like check it with someone, especially like have someone review it. Because I improved. All of the points that I got this time weren't from my multiple choice. It was from my essays. Like, I believe actually I only improved maybe like 3 or 4 points in multiple choice, but that means that I improved about 20 points in my essays. And it was because I wasn't eye-racking properly. I wasn't analyzing my essays properly when I first started. I remember giving you my first essays and you were like, oh, okay.
I was nice about it.
You're like, you're not analyzing. You got a bunch of points, but they're all on the law. So like, that's the purpose of practicing. It's not, it's so you get into the habit of, this is the way the essays are going to go. And this is how you have to answer them. It's not about knowing the law. It's about giving it to them the way they want you to give it to them. And really like practicing it helps you to see how the bar examiners want you to do it. And doing it the way it is, because it sounds weird, but like when you're writing it, you're like, what the heck am I writing? It sounds weird, but that's what they wanted, so just give it to them that way. And I know that for a fact because I was trying to make it in a way that sounded coherent and like it sounded all beautiful. And obviously that wasn't working. So I needed to do it in like this because this like. And
listen, don't give away all of our secrets because is the Vinco catchphrase. Because
well, I've heard that in other places, by the way.
No, it's just ours. Well, Krystal, thank you so much for joining us today. And for those of you out there, if you're interested in learning more about Vinco, you can find us at vincoprep.com. And I will see you all next time.